Alright ladies, so today we're going to be reviewing one of my older video about the power of regression and how to use the power of regression in order to make somebody who is potentially emotionally unavailable and how to open them up. Now look, some people are like boxes, like lock boxes. You can't get through them. But through this strategy that we're going to be reviewing today, you could potentially use this to open an emotional space in a man in order for him to become more emotional towards you. Okay, I can't guarantee it'll work on every guy, but it's worth a shot if you're being a cabeza dura, if you're being hard-headed. All right. So we're gonna, it's one of my older videos, so I haven't watched it in a while, so I don't know whether or not I agree with it, but let's see what I have to say, and I'm gonna give you guys my take on it. So don't forget, we're releasing our course Emotional Mastery by June 1st, I believe. June 1st, June 2nd. Pre-order right now in order to get the discounted price. It's gonna be priced at $250. That's the price we're gonna put it at. It's gonna start at $250, and it's a 5 to 6 week course about how to apply mindfulness to your everyday life, with exercises, and potentially it's gonna have also like a workbook that you guys can use. So it's pretty much a course that if you're needy, if you're somebody that has a needy, anxious attachment style, if you're somebody that is always where you've been traumatized because of relationships, where you always get played, where you can't control your uncontrollable patterns, that's the course for you. All right. And also it's a course about how to become more charismatic, fix your nonverbal cues, listen more to people, and become generally more likable, and lower people's defenses at your mere presence. So pre-order it right now. I'm closing the channel. And don't forget, we're going to London at the end of July. It's a 2-day seminar about improving your nonverbal communication. All right, so let's begin with the video. And for some reason, this video I have a deeper voice. I think the editor made it deeper. I don't talk like that, people. It wasn't on purpose.
Like a ball.
Alright ladies, so today I'm going to make a few videos. I'm hoping I can make a few videos, and the first video I'm going to be making is how to make an emotionally unavailable man chase. In the next couple days, well, today or maybe tomorrow, I'm going to make a video on how to be happy, how to create a temptation, and how to get an ex-boyfriend back. Now, I never been able to get my ex-boyfriend back, but I will definitely help you. I never had a boyfriend, but I'll definitely help you how to get yours back with the things I teach, and with some different, with a different perspective than what I usually bring. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started. For those who don't know, I started doing one-on-one coaching. You know, I really like doing one-on-one coaching. It feels like I'm Whoopi Goldberg from The View mixed with Dr. Phil. You know, like you get to see the gossip, and then I get to tell you guys what to do. I tell you guys to shut up and listen. It's really fun. You know, it's fulfilling a childhood fantasy. But let's get started. Men who are emotionally unavailable are men who have been hurt. Now, there are two completely different men out there. When you think of men who are emotionally unavailable, we think of guys who are players, guys who can't stay with one woman, as dysfunctional. I get that often, right? But I get called dysfunctional. I get called you need a real woman in your life to protect you, and I'm like, okay, right, fuck you, man. But Jesus Christ, Alexis, that's pretty defensive. But thinking back at that period, no, I just think that I didn't have a lot of experiences with girls when I was a teenager, because I was so into Christianity that I didn't want to be in a relationship as a result, right? It pretty much came down to me having no experiences. Essentially, the reason why people think guys who don't like to commit are emotionally scarred is because we have a belief that the right thing is for a guy to get married and have kids. We value guys who are husband material, and we downgrade guys who are not husband material. You see? And that a lot of the times that's pretty much based on your culture, the kind of household you lived in, and more or less is not based on who you are as a person and how you are emotionally stable. It doesn't go that way, but a lot of guys are placed into that. So that's the first thing, is first having the right definition. Because just because he doesn't want to commit doesn't mean he's emotionally unavailable, you know? Guys who are emotionally unavailable are guys who are suppressing their emotions, are guys who don't express themselves, are guys who don't show a range of emotion, and when they try to show it, you see that they're suppressing it. Not because they're playing a game, but because of fear. They're very sensitive. When you say something about anything about them, or criticism, they react. That's being emotionally unavailable, because it means that you don't put yourself out there because you're afraid of being hurt.
We're going to go to a quick commercial break, people. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't purchased any of my courses, we have a special bundle deal for everyone. So that you can purchase all of my courses, meaning you could purchase the Psychological Game of Attraction, Natural Chemistry, and Nice Girl, along with all of the bonuses. Originally, if you purchase everything without the bundle, it'll be around $500, to be honest with you. But right now, if you guys purchase it, with the bundle, you guys will be able to get all of these courses: Psychological Game of Attraction, which is for women who are single; Natural Chemistry, which is for women who are in a relationship; Nice Girl, which is a course on assertiveness, along with all of the bonuses: Social Mastery, Practical Mastery in terms of how to master anything; Social Mastery in terms of how to master your social skills; and The Laws of Human Nature, wherein it's part of the Robert Greene book club I used to have. All of these, naturally, like I said, it's $500. Now you get it at $394, which is essentially 20% off everything. But if you guys want to purchase a more affordable bundle, you guys can purchase the bundle without the bonuses, and that will be at $224 rather than the $300. Well, rather than the $293 that you guys would naturally purchase it. So you could purchase it with the bundle or without the bundle. You could purchase it with the bonuses or without the bonuses. It's all of the work that I put in the last 4 years, in the last 5 years, actually, all of the research that I've done. And this course, rather than watching all of my videos, and because they could be random and you could sort of like lose the big picture because there's just so many videos, you guys get all of the content condensed in a course. All right. So purchase it right now. Click on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle, and I'll see you guys inside. Well, the funny thing is that there is a psychological condition that mostly happens to men, and it's called alexithymia, where a man cannot recognize or feel or know what he's feeling. Rather than feel emotions, they actually feel physical sensations such as headaches or stomach aches, right? So a lot of the times, for example, you'll tell the guy, "Hey, can I go out with my friends tonight?" Like just to make him feel good. And he'll be like, "Okay, I don't have a problem with that." But then he'll feel angry at you, and he doesn't know why he feels angry at you, right? And a lot of the times it's because he just doesn't know what he's feeling. He doesn't know that he's really angry, right? And so this condition usually happens to men more than women. And it adds to the stereotype, and even then the stereotype has a psychological component that has a realistic component, that guys don't express their emotions. It's because they actually have a condition that affects mostly men, which is alexithymia. It's kind of insane.
That's why you're emotionally unavailable. Our identity is pretty much tied into our emotions. If I show you my angry side, that's just an emotion, but our identity is based on our emotions. For example, there are some days that you don't feel like yourself. That means you feel differently as opposed to what you normally feel on a consistent basis. You see, so pretty much you could say your identity. Even remember, I say have no identity, but again, these are one of those paradoxes where I say don't do this, but at the same time do it. You gotta realize that your identity is based on how you feel. You see, so if you feel good, you're gonna be a happy person. You see, you're gonna see yourself as that. Okay. So it's based on how you feel. So that's actually a very quick way to change your personality, is to simply changing how you feel rather than doing it through conscious effort. But I'm being sidetracked right now. So as So what you need to do then is you gotta realize that a lot of the times guys get hurt in their childhood. Why does it happen in your childhood and not in like your teen years? For the simple fact that when you're a child, you don't know how to cope with negative emotions. Not only that, you're still weak mentally per se, malleable. Your brain is still elastic. It's still being formed. Anything can form, and you become more attuned to influences. That's why you learn faster when you're a child. When you're a child, there's no such thing as a hard language. There's just only the language that you presented. Like, you believe that, like, there's no such thing as a hard language when you're a child. You learn anything as long as it's in front of you. The same thing with your environment. You'll become anything. It doesn't matter how evil and how you could become. But for example, like Saddam Hussein's son was known as an evil guy, but his childhood was riddled with seeing people get tortured, was riddled with violence. So and also he had to work to get his father's approval. So of course he saw his father as the evil guy, and he just wanted approval. He was made to at 9 years old. He was forced to watch people get tortured. So he was used to it. So yeah, you can say he's evil, but at the same time, you really look at it, you start to see, holy shit, like anyone in under his situation could have been like him. Okay, so realize that who you are tends to happen when you're a child. So guys who experience a lot of pain, a lot of rejection, they can't manage those emotions. So as a result, because they can't cope with it, rather than deal with it, they suppress it. And sometimes you don't even remember what happened because you became emotionally unavailable, so you don't have to experience that pain. But that pattern keeps perpetuating itself, and it matures into different things. That it doesn't look like how it first started, but just like you grow up, you never look like as you were a child. You mature and you grow up. Okay. So what you need to do then is to really get him to be himself. You got to get to that spot where he was hurt, that spot where he is running away from. So you gotta learn how to act out childhood desires. All right. So you gotta give him a desire that wasn't given to him as a child, because emotionally unavailable means that his needs weren't met. Okay. So different children have different needs. And different men have different needs, different reasons why they're emotionally unavailable. Sometimes some men are not emotionally unavailable because they're afraid to commit. Some guys are emotionally unavailable because they noticed that when they got close to their parents, they didn't listen. So that's why you gotta listen and talk to them. Notice what he reacts to. Notice what annoys him. Notice what kind of words annoy him. Notice notice the things that he hates in people the most. Notice the quality that he loves in people the most. And notice the things that he doesn't like in people. And just think about it from the perspective of, if he doesn't like it, that means he lacked it. If he loves it, that means he needed it. You see? So for example, if you notice the guy is not disciplined, right? Let's say he's not disciplined, and he doesn't have a lot of good self-discipline. Okay, so then you're gonna notice that in reality, when he was a child, he wasn't really forced to have discipline. Most likely that it could have been the other way around, but most likely. So what you do then is to actually try to help him in the areas that he's not disciplined in through example, through first being an example, so he can say, "Wow, she is the thing that I'm not."
It sounds to me as almost like being what they lacked as children, right? Sounds like a lot of work, I'm not even gonna lie, but people do that a lot. Like, women usually date guys who've been traumatized and who go around dating unconsciously through their emotional reactions and through their traumas and guiding their decision making. They usually date whatever they lacked, right? And so if they lacked a father figure, they'll usually find a man who is a father figure so that they can emotionally open up. If the man does not have that father figure projection, either through the way he looks or through the way he acts, that woman is not going to be interested in that man. So it's almost like, so if that guy wasn't disciplined, then you become that discipline. If he never had fun as a child and he was always made to be super conservative, then you become that wild girl to him, right? And it's almost like you have to... I prefer that you're naturally that. That's what makes a couple good. That you guys complement each other. That you guys fulfill each other's lack, right? But if you're somebody that could take adjusting yourself to the guy because you really like that guy, he better have a golden dick. Then yes, you could do that. But it takes you. You see, this is the way I see it. Is that it's not a bad thing, because practicing observing what people need is a good skill. It's a good skill. It's actually something good, right? And as long as you do this with good intentions, it's not a bad thing. But that's what I'm getting from this video. I haven't watched it ever since I made it, to be honest with you. But it's pretty much just becoming what they lack, you know. And it's almost like when you're envious, right? You get emotional because you're seeing somebody have something that you don't have, right? In other words, emotions come out when somebody has what you don't have. It's as simple as that. Like it's just as simple. You could be the most apathetic person, but if somebody has something that you want, you get emotional, right? And that's how by first getting them emotional is the first step to making somebody who's emotionally unavailable more emotional. It doesn't mean that it's gonna fix the root problem though, but it might give you some temporary results.
Like, first be that. Be it. Don't tell them, oh, I think you should clean your room. No, just clean your own room. When you pick up after your own self and let him see it. And the guy's gonna notice. And if you don't impose that on him, he's gonna want that. Now, mind you, he's emotionally unavailable because he's afraid of criticism. So you just act out what you believe that he needs. You see, and you notice this. It takes a lot of nurturing. It takes actually you taking the time out to actually do this. You see, so he's emotionally unavailable for a reason. So this motherfucker better have a 10-inch stick if he's gonna be doing all of this. Alright, but anyways, let's keep talking. Like, desire for affection. Find out what makes him react and what pisses him off about women. What pissed him off about his parents also. If he didn't have a father, give him direction. Learn how to give him direction. But first you gotta be that. You first gotta be the embodiment of what he lacked. You see what I'm saying? So you actually gotta talk to the guy and actually get to know him. So this is nothing that you could do short term. And notice where he openly admits to being weak and help him out. You know, notice where he openly says, "Yeah, I always struggle with this," and tell him that you're willing to help, and just find a way to communicate to him that you're willing to be there if he ever needs assistance. Okay, by asking. By the way, I remember you told me last week that you struggle with this. How's that going? And just see how's it going. You know, just show that you kind of care. A lot of women will not do that. And even if they want to, they don't know how to do that. Like, this kind of stuff really gets to him. The more obvious this thing is that, because if you try to chase him to make him commit when he's emotionally unavailable, the more obvious you chase, the more you're going to drive him away. You know.
If you ask me, it sounds like a lot of work. Don't be having no uphill relationships where you're having to create love. All right. You could do this. It's a good thing when somebody already loves you, and you look for their lack, and you do it out of love, not out of manipulation. It's not a bad thing, but to use this as like your starting point because you have to, because the guy doesn't like you, you're just being hard-headed, man. Don't be cabeza dura, man. Like, if you're hard-headed, if you're stubborn, you're gonna be butting heads with your own self, and you're just gonna end up being frustrated and resentful. So it's not worth the lemon. Is just not worth the squeeze. That's all I have to say, people. All right. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to work with Father Alex one-on-one, over the phone, over Skype, click on the description down below to work with me one-on-one. And I'll see you guys. Oh, and if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to watch any videos that are exclusive, go to Patreon and become a Patreon supporters. All right. Anyways, take care.